Hey everyone, welcome to project call number 9 for XYZ DAO. We'd like to give a special birthday shout out to our main man, Vyacheslav. V has been with us for a while. Me and Tyler, he's been with Tyler for the longest, but V is one of Tyler's oldest employees, and today is his birthday. So everyone wish V a happy birthday. And then I'll go ahead and hand it over to Dragos so Dragos can give some updates around the DAO and the governance.
Thank you very much, Mark, and hello to everyone. Pretty briefly, I'm just going to share my screen here. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Let me get some screen sharing action going on here. I think oh yes, Mark, please help me here.
You should be able to now.
All right, cool. So the first thing which I think everyone's excited about is that the DAO governance is live. The DAO got activated. The activation threshold has been passed. So round of applause for everyone, I suppose. And with that said, basically we prepared the signal and the forum. They are up. So I have it right here. So you can go to signal.universe.xyz, the snapshot, where you can, propose something and see how it will go before you make an actual proposal in DAO. The discourse where you can basically talk about proposals, right? So those are live, and probably later today or by tomorrow, we're gonna have some links here. We're gonna do a small patch release where we're gonna add the links to the app itself as well. So that's gonna follow up pretty soon. Other than that, in lieu with the DAO activation, if you will, the docs about the governance, how to create proposals and so on have been added, and you can find them right here in the info section. So if you click this, it's going to take you to the docs.universe.xyz. It's going to give an overview, the idea behind it, how to create proposal. It's a pretty well written doc here on how to do anything, right? So what are the proposals, how to format, what are the states of the proposal, how does a proposal pass, and so on, basically. So long story short, I think that would be all. Unless anyone wants to add anything on the call here, please go ahead. Or in that we can move forward and talk about the auction stuff, Mark.
Yeah, I think that's everything we needed to talk about.
Cool. DAO.universe.xyz. All right.
Nice. And then I can go over some of the auctions and minting updates. So currently we have our auctions and minting contracts going through our second round of audits. The last few weeks we were getting some stuff changed, and then last few days CertiK has started auditing all of our contracts. So right now we're just kind of in limbo waiting for that to get back to us. We are basically hoping that all that comes back clean and we are ready to connect and start testing all that stuff. We have done extensive testing. I know Stan has done the ridiculous amount of testing on what we already have. But once we actually get all the back end and everything live, the site is going to need even more testing just to make sure there's no bugs or issues where people could lose things, or the site just doesn't actually work. So we'll have to make sure that all that stuff works. That'll take us a little bit of time, but if all goes to plan, hopefully we will be launching all that soon. We don't have a date in mind, and we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because we don't know what's coming back on these audits. But if everything comes back the way we want, things are looking good, and we should be able to get launched as, about when we want to, and that's pretty soon. So we'll just leave it at that. We've also been working on a lot of things, polymorphs. So it's almost a month since the polymorphs came out. Not even. I don't even think they're 1 month old. I think they're literally 28, 29 days. But So we've been working on this rarity chart. And one thing I do want to mention about the rarity chart is it was a little bit more difficult than we thought, but it's finally coming together the way that we want it, and to where that it reflects like full sets and, you know, exactly how we thought that the rarity chart was best to reflect the way that the polymorphs were designed. The only thing that we're really waiting on for that is is finishing up the front end site for that. So we've created a pretty sleek like rarity tools site. It's going to be on the Universe site, but basically rarity tools couldn't offer rarity for the polymorph, so we kind of had to go build our own sheet for that. And basically you're going to be able to filter and search based off traits, so, and all different stuff. So be able to go through via, you know, rarity, go 1 through 10,000, or you could see which, you know, which are the most rare based off of a certain trait or a certain skin, or, you know, whatever you're trying to kind of look at it from whatever angle. So the filtering is going to be pretty good on that. You're going to be able to click in and see everyone's polymorph. One thing that our site doesn't really have is like being able to go see someone else's polymorph. You actually have to go and type in, you know, universe.xyz slash polymorph slash whatever polymorph it is. This will actually allow people to like be able to go through all the polymorphs, click on them, and then see if they're a virgin and see all their new badges. And that's another thing we'll probably come out with, and we are working on, is more badges. But yeah, just I think there's that disconnect right now with a lot of people on OpenSea. They're trying to figure out if it's a like they see one on OpenSea, but it's almost like they want to know if it's a virgin or if it's been scrambled or what's its next scramble price. There's a few things that someone may want to know before they go and just ape into one on the market. So we're trying to get all that information a little bit more readily available to you guys, and then those pages will be like clickable from the rarity chart. You'll be able to see all the polymorphs there, so it'll be kind of a good way to go through and see them all in one place and filter them, and see all those badges easily. But again, on the rarity charts, the formula took a little bit too long. We thought we had it right. We needed to look back at it. We're fixing it. We got it fixed, and now we just got to get this front end up, connect the back end, and it'll be there. But we just have a few small little things we got to finish up before we work on that, or before we launch that. So also, part of the reason why the rarity tools has taken us a while is because we've kind of had to reallocate some resources. One thing that we actually have started doing over the last few weeks is rebuilding out teams. We have about 30 to 40 people working on Universe, and we're probably working on about 9 or 10 different things. And so it's a little difficult when we had all these requests for things for polymorphs, and we didn't necessarily we had all these things get requested of us for polymorphs, and we kind of had to scramble to kind of move around and start building the rarity tools. We started building things like battle game, like we started building a lot for the polymorphs. We didn't want to just stop at an NFT drop. Like we said, these are some of the most technologically advanced NFTs we've seen so far, and we really want to keep building more for them. So one thing that we're working on right now is a battle game, which would allow you to, you know, battle against each other, take your polymorph, maybe potentially wager some ETH or some money and battle against each other. And basically we have like a gladiator style of polymorphs fighting each other. Also, we're working, Lime Chain is working on another game for the polymorphs called Morphland, which would be like, Stan, do you want to maybe pitch Morphland, or should I, or Z? You guys probably could explain it better than me, to be honest. I explain it as like a Risk Minecraft kind of conquer game. Like you kind of conquer land, and the person who conquers the most kind of wins. But it's more of like maybe Z could. give it
Yeah,
a
I can give a high level overview, but I can say that with the caveat that it's still quite early for
subject to
that. We're
change.
still, yeah, it's subject to change. We're still in the ideation phase and working on different possibilities. But basically, the idea is to have kind of like a Minecraft game where each polymorph has its own land, but it can also conquer and explore new land and build stuff based on its attributes and like traits. That's pretty much it. But like we said, it's subject to change.
Yeah. And then there's like a winner. So like the way I kind of understand it is like there's a almost like kind of like a conquer all and win kind of king of the hill. But that sounds like a lot of fun, and we're working on that as well. What a lot of people know about too that we've been working on is like new art for some of the polymorphs. Tyler's been talking about like version 2 burn to mint drops, where you would like if you don't like the current polymorph art, you potentially like burn it to get a different one. Right now, we're currently working on 2 polymorphic drops. One has already started, one is like in the works. So one is like 2D, 3D polymorphs. You guys may have already seen them floating around Twitter. But basically, we're kind of making the polymorphs a little bit more realistic and giving them like a 3D look. And you'll be able to like burn your polymorph and get that exact same image at the time. I think that's how it's going to work. You'll get your version of your polymorph, but the catch is that that second burned mint polymorph will still be scramblable. So still bringing pretty cool, interesting ideas of like how to change, make these polymorphs change even more. So just really cool ideas coming out of the team right now and how we can do stuff like that. And another drop we're working on, and this isn't something that we have started, but we're actually kind of considering opening this drop up to the community and allowing like some artists come in and kind of help us kind of curate a polymorph burn to mint drop. We have this idea of like these like a face that has like sections, and maybe we could get like 10 or 11 artists that wanted to, maybe take like a commission to work on some, to like do some faces. And then basically we'd have these like polymorphic artistic faces that were like a conglomerate of like 10 or 11 artists. And then that would be like one of our first like community drops on Universe that like allows the community to come and be more involved with us. So that's one thing we're like interested in and exploring. So definitely like reach out to me on like Discord and Twitter if you're watching this, and that would be something that as an artist like you're interested in doing. I'm not going to be able to find you guys. You guys are the easiest way to get in touch with me is just come and DM me. I'm nice. I'll message you back. I'm pretty busy, so if I don't message you back right away, I'll get back to you. So some more stuff that we're working on for the polymorphs, which is like I said, we've been working on so much, and like I said earlier again, is we've actually built out a whole team to work on all this stuff for polymorphs because we were a little overwhelmed at first with, at first we were overwhelmed with polymorphs selling out. Then it was the community, like how awesome they thought they were. And then everyone wanted rarity charts. It just was one thing after the other. So we figured the best thing to do is just build out a team to explore all these different ideas. And part of what that team is also doing is exploring metaverse capabilities and like getting our polymorphs into the metaverse. This looks like something that we're 100% going to be able to do. So we have started working with some 3D artists that we need these certain files to get into the metaverse. But basically we didn't have anyone except for V. V knows how to do the 3D, but if you guys know, V does like almost everything. We call him our night ninja, our Swiss Army knife. He kind of can do literally any task that we ask. So, but we can't have V just like only working on one thing. It's like we need him on a bunch of stuff. So we've kind of built out a little 3D team to start building out the polymorphs for the metaverse. And then we've also had some pretty big discussions internally about like creating a polymorph clubhouse or like a kind of just rebranding all like the UI a little bit like the Bored Apes did. We really love that style of how they kind of created a like a homey, like if you go to their website, they did whoever their designer is did a great job of creating like a submersive feel when you go to that website. But also like we know like they're doing a lot of these collections are doing things like building out like sandbox clubhouses, Decentraland clubhouses, you know, just clubhouses in the metaverse in general. And this is something we also would like to explore. One thing that we are looking at is actually reaching out to Decentraland and Sandbox and seeing if there's like plots set aside that Universe could potentially purchase with DAO funds from the polymorph drop and basically buy a few land plots or potentially talk with them to like buy a section where like if you had a polymorph you could potentially buy it. We haven't had these conversations with Decentraland or Sandbox, but we are trying to get in touch with them and reach out to them and have these conversations. A lot of these are just ideas right now, but they're all ideas that the team and I'm sure the community want us to pursue. So it's definitely things on our radar.
One thing that Z brought up was like a Twitter poll, and maybe this could even be like where we kind of start out conversations around governance, that like which metaverse plot, like basically like which platform to use. Like we can obviously have those discussions in Discord, but I think using the forum is a really good like first move for this. It's worked really well for Barnbridge, and we have like pretty engaging discussions. And so I think that there's a bug in my face. I think that this is like a good opportunity to showcase that.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect, you know.
It will also help organize it, just because the Discord can be a little chaotic, right? So like it will be a good place you're just going to be able to like go and reference really quickly, and like go through a conversation. Because like I don't know about you guys, but I get lost in some of those conversations on the Discord.
Yeah, our Discord's gotten a little crazy since we split it up into like XYZ and the polymorphs.
It's not even just our Discord. I mean, it's Discord in general. Like, you know, when we were first doing stuff on like Barnbridge's Discord, or like when Synthetics was doing their Discord, like, I mean, there's like everyone was using Telegram, and like, so I think that a lot of people moved to Discord because like of like the bots that you can build in, the ways that you can like segment things into channels, you can kind of organize it better. But now as like Discord has grown substantially across our entire industry, like it's not a place that you can like just layer in governance discussions. So like that's what Forum, Snapshot, and the DAO is for. So I think like we can definitely start these conversations there, but we still need a place that that organizes the information in a digestible format.
And I personally have like, I mean, for the metaverse conversation, like I personally have only done a little exploring in those metaverse games. Like I personally don't know which one is best. I mean, I personally have to do research on this. But we'd love to hear from the community, like what you guys think about like what you guys play on, like what are the pros and cons of both. I mean, like this is not like some of us know, but not all of us know. So I think everyone has different opinions, and this is definitely, like Tyler said, is a great example, great first run of something to start in these forums and have these discussions. And, you know, if this is something that the community wants to do, we can have a snapshot vote on, you know, if this is something we want to do, or even which plot, you know, if we want to go Decentraland route or sandbox route, we can easily make those votes in the snapshot or in the signal. And I think, you know, like Tyler said, it's just a perfect time, perfect opportunity to kind of start getting in these governance. How would you say that? Like getting the flows of governance, start getting in, doing the motions.
Yeah, just start the processes. It'll help, especially because, you know, like the NFT community isn't following how DeFi handles governance, and I think this will be like an opportunity that I think it'll open a lot of people's eyes up.
I think you're making a really great point. Like there's a lot of people in the community, especially Universe, who are saying like, you know, I saw a ton of people say like the Polymorphs were their first NFT, and you know, like XYZ is one of their first yield farming experiences. And it's like, I just think, you know, there's a lot to learn. You know, the governance is just the next step of decentralization. Like I remember learning about yield farming. I forget what my first yield farming, I think it was Barnbridge was my first governance token I yield farm. But I mean, just like going through the motions of learning governance is a truly eye-opening experience. Even you know, 6 or 7 months ago, actually it was even longer than that. Like Barnbridge is almost a year old now, but I mean, learning about that stuff, I mean, it definitely wakes you up and changes how you think about these things versus like the old way we do it. I just think it's really cool. No, I just wanted to share my experience. I really grew after learning about governance and actually using it for the first time. So I think everyone can learn from it, like Tyler said. But that's basically all we have for today. We can kind of turn to the community questions. It doesn't look like we have any questions other than VJ 2006 wants to know if we are able to discuss the recent gas wars on the Stoner Cats in the Vogu drop, and if we have any plans to address those issues as part of our platform. He mentions, I'm guessing Matic and others are the solutions to this problem. So does anybody want to do we want to talk about that? I guess we can answer the part about our platform and if we're going to be able to fix that. I think
a lot of that's going to depend on layer 2. It's like you're going to be minting on those. But like even Polymorphs kind of had a gas war, right? With so like, I mean, that's just a symptom of the network. But Stoner Cats also kind of messed up on stuff, you know. So like there's no silver bullet anywhere in there.
And that is one thing we definitely are exploring, and like conversations we're having with external teams. Like we've had calls with Immutable X, we've had calls with Polygon. Like we're still having calls with Polygon. We are definitely exploring layer 2s. Like we want to use layer 2s, but right now to begin, we want to build everything on ETH layer 1, and then the layer 2s will come next. Like we'll integrate them, we'll plug them in. We'll have those capabilities. But I mean, yeah, Troy's right. Like that's just a burden of the Ethereum network. But you know, more stuff scales off and moves on to these layer 2s. I mean, and like stuff like optimism and that stuff gets released in the future. It's hopefully that these gas wars don't happen to the extent that they're happening now. Like if we can move some of these transactions off layer 1, it will prevent those huge spikes. But until, you know, we can fix some of these things as like a whole community, like as the whole Ethereum community, like that's not something that like we're gonna be able to fix single-handedly, like Troy said. like a conglomerate of everyone. But that's the only question that we really had. I'm sure. Definitely keep dropping questions. The last few weeks we haven't had too many questions, but we love answering y'all's questions. But that just kind of means, I guess, we're doing a good job of answering all the questions in the Discord. So, all right, guys. I think that's everything we have. Is there anything else we want to say to our beautiful followers?
Look forward to hearing from all you guys in the forum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, let us know what you guys. We all go start a conversation in there maybe about Decentraland or Sandbox. That'll be the first one.
Nice.
All right, everyone. Hit like, subscribe, follow us. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Hit that subscribe button right there.
Found it.
Yeah,
Yeah, everyone.
See ya.
Later.
Bye-bye.